Hello students, it's Miss Lucero. In this video, I will read this chapter, How Do Plants and Animals Need One Another? So we have already read this page, so you have already looked at your 3 vocabulary words, which were environment, pollen, and food chain. So we'll go ahead and begin the lesson. Now we know that this text is nonfiction, and we see photographs here. So we're going to be looking and thinking about what is this mostly about. So if we look at the title, that can help us determine what that is mostly about, and we know that it's going to be about how plants and animals need one another. Our question here at the beginning of a text always helps me to think about what the text will be about. In your place. Plants and animals use living and non-living things to meet their needs. They get the things they need from their environment. All the living and non-living things in a place make up an environment. Plants and animals need an environment where there is water, food, air, and space. And we learned that with animal needs. Find the sentence that tells the meaning of environment. So we already found that sentence here. This is the caption. Plants and animals need an environment where they can find water. And we can see zebras drinking water in their environment. Plants and animals need air in their environment. Plants need an environment where they can get sunlight to make food. Animals need an environment where they can find food. Plants and animals need an environment where they have space to live and grow. Some animals need to find shelter in their environment. So here's a work for today. Give an example of how living things depend on their environment, then compare how plants and animals get food in their environment. So this is going to be your prompt. You're going to write it down and send me a picture. Getting help. You can see a picture of a lion here. Animals depend on plants and their environment to meet their needs. Many animals use plants for shelter. Some animals hide in plants. Other animals live in plants or use them to build homes. Okay, we can think about how the lion is hiding in the tall grass. Oh, a lion hides in the tall grass. The bird uses plants to build a nest. This is what we talked about at the beginning. A detail is a fact about the main idea. Draw a line under one detail. Draw an arrow to the main idea that it tells about. So we have talked about usually that the first sentence is the main idea, but not always. But in this case, animals depend on plants and environments to meet their needs. So this whole paragraph here is going to be about how they meet their needs, and one detail is that how they use it for shelter. One could be they hide in plants. So any of these sentences could be a detail. Animals need to breathe air to get oxygen, a gas in the air. Plants give off oxygen. Some animals use plants for food. Some animals eat other animals that eat plants. A panda eats bamboo. Ants find both food and shelter in thorns of the trees. And this is another way that you can talk about what's happening in this page. Compare ways animals depend on plants. So here we have 2 different ways. Compare means to look at least 2 things and talk about how they're the same and how they're different. Giving help. Plants depend on animals and their environment. Animals may help plants reproduce or make new plants. Some animals carry fruits to new places. There, the seed inside the fruit may grow into a new plant. Okay, this is actually asking about the main idea again. So the main idea here would be about how plants depend on animals and their environment. And 2 lines under the main idea. So you would draw 2 lines under this sentence. The dog spreads seeds that are inside the burrs on its fur. Oh, poor dog. But inside of these, there are seeds. So these are how the seeds get to different places. This is a page that gave the answer to the question on the first page. Some animals spread pollen for plants. Pollen is a powder that flowers need to make seeds. Pollens may stick to an animal. The animal carries the pollen from flower to flower. This helps plants make new plants. As a bat drinks the flower nectar, pollen rubs off on the bat. This is one of our main pollinators. A beetle carries pollen on its body. I thought that was a bee. It's a beetle, so that also carries pollen. A woodpecker moves acorns with its beak. Seeds are inside the acorns. We can see that here in the picture in the back. We can see the acorns from the woodpecker. Give an example how animals help plants reproduce. So you could use any of these examples. Just a few more. Eat up. These pictures show a mountain. A food chain shows how energy moves from plants to animals. Follow the arrows. Look at how living things depend on one another in a lake food chain. So their different environments have different food chains, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Food chains start with sunlight and plants. In this food chain, the water plants use sunlight to make food. So here we have a different type of plants in a different environment, which is a lake. Krill, a kind of ocean animal, eats plants and living things. So that plant is eaten by this kind of little ocean animal, and then a rockfish eats the krill. So you can go ahead and you can do this. Remember that math is part of science. Read the word problem, then solve it. A copper rockfish can grow as long as 55 meters. A tiger rockfish can grow as 30. How much longer can a copper rockfish grow than a tiger? So this is a comparing word problem. You're going to use subtraction of 55, take away 30 to find the number of centimeters more that the copper rockfish can grow. Okay. At the beach, there are food chains that have many different environments. Look at how living things depend on each other in a beach food chain. So actually that was the first page here, but a beach food chain can start with sunlight and plants. Like living things, the plants can make living things use sunlight to make food. So actually this page was first. Sorry, my pages are mixed up a little bit. So actually, let's see. So this one would be first. Oh. This is the first step where the sun makes the plants. And then this is where the energy goes through an ocean. So that one's different than the lake. Okay. Now those are the pages that you're going to read today. And tomorrow you will work on these pages. Okay, so make sure that you are paying attention to these words here, because tomorrow you'll be working on this vocabulary exercise. Okay, have a great day. Bye.